Hello again. So I'm just going to recap what's on the table. Here's the piece of stitching that I'm going to copy. Here's the black and white chart, and this time I've fixed it to a board with magnetic strips so I can keep it nice and still. I've got a pair of scissors and I've got a pencil for marking off where I've stitched. I threaded my needle with one strand folded in half, just as before, and I have a piece of fabric. Now this piece of fabric is 14 count Aida, and I have folded it into 4, and I'm finger pressing the folds. On a bigger project you might want to press this with an iron and possibly even work tacking stitches down the folds so that you keep track of where you are at any given time. The alternative as well is that I would certainly overlock this or do a narrow hem around the edge of the fabric to prevent it from fraying. So I'm going to put in my first stitch. So I'm going to go from the middle of the chart to the middle of the fabric. So I'm going to bring my needle up through the left hand hole in the square. If I turn it slightly to the camera so you can see, and then I'm going across one box, turning to the reverse and passing the needle through the loop. And then I can complete the cross by going from bottom right to top left, like so. Now you'll notice I'm working without a frame or a hoop. My preference, you must do as you see fit, and I'm going to work part stitches. So I'm doing some half crosses, like so, and then I can go back and cover them up. You'll also notice that I'm making the top stitch face the same direction each time. So this is what makes counted cross stitch so pretty. Now when I've done my stitches, I can use my pencil and I can colour in the ones I've worked so I can keep an eye on my place. So now I'm going to show you how to do this on linen. Exactly the same principles involved here. We folded the fabric into 4, finger pressed it, possibly we've done the tacking, probably we've overlocked the edges, and then we go to the middle of the material. And the same rules apply. I'm bringing my needle up through the fabric and I'm going to pass across 2 fabric threads. If you can try and visualise a noughts and crosses board, you're going to be using the 4 corners. Through the loop on the back again, back to the front, and then I can complete the cross, which goes to show you that linen isn't difficult, it's just different. The crosses end up exactly the same size as on the Aida fabric, and I can do my stitches in the same fashion and go back and cover them up. So as I said, linen is different. Generally embroidery threads are supplied either in skeins like this one, or more recently in this very clever spiral pack where you just pull out the amount you need. Now I organise my threads on a card like this one, and I'll show you why and how I do that. I sometimes use these hand-turn cards. Actually, the piece of card out of a pair of tights works very well with some holes punched in it. And I'm going to show you how to load your threads onto this. So I'll clear away some of this muddle. So I've just got my card. And I've folded my thread in half. Now I cut my lengths 80 centimetres long, and you'll find out why later on. And I just loop them on like so. And then I would have the number, the colour number or the symbol loaded on the card like so. And I've taken one of the lengths. Now this is embroidery thread, this is stranded cotton. In America it's referred to as floss. And I'm going to show you how to avoid getting tangles. Don't try and split your threads like this. Avoid that because you will get a knot halfway down. The trick with stranded cottons is to take just one length from the end like so, and if you pull in a continuous way like that, you'll be able to take just one strand. Generally you're going to be working with 2 strands. I'll show you more about that in a moment. So we've looked at threads and we've looked at charts, and now I'm going to give you some tips and hints about threading needles and why you'll probably want to use a gold-plated one. So to thread the needle, obviously I wouldn't dream of spitting on the end much, so of course I have, and I've threaded the 2 loose ends and left myself the loop. That's method 1. Another way to thread your needle is to needle the thread. Put the needle over the thread, drag it towards you and pull.